Hey, how you doing? Checking in on the podcast in the desert somewhere in California, just outside Twentynine Palms. It's pretty desolate out here. Yesterday was Chiefs Parade in Kansas City, and there was a shooting where one got killed, a local DJ, and several people injured. Suspects, don't really know what happened yet. But, God, when are we going to say enough's enough on this shit? I know we do this enough on the podcast, talk about this, where we're not anti-gun and all that stuff, but now you can't even celebrate, you got parades, churches, malls, schools, hospitals, and I don't know. It might have been a targeted shooting, who knows. Details are sketchy right now, but it just seems like we could do better on all this stuff. And, didn't really tell you about the trip back east up to Vermont. Last time I checked in on one of these car things, I was driving in Boston and, made it up to Vermont, and snow, of course. The one thing I'll say about that is, have a plan on it. I think I've talked about this before, is have a plan on if something happens to you so you don't leave your family all high and dry trying to figure out this stuff, because it just makes it so much more difficult when that happens. Jeez, some compounds out here in the middle of nowhere. It's where all the sketchy people live. If you're going to be like a gun nut and shoot people out, maybe you should just live out in the middle of nowhere, so you can't hurt anybody. I don't know. Kind of like the hills have eyes out here. And shit. And then from Vermont, it was cool to see friends in New Hampshire. And, it was cool to be in Boston, miss back east, So doing 9 states in the last 2 weeks. I was out in Indiana for work for a little bit. And that was fine. The weather was actually better than it was in Arizona. Came back to 3 inches of snow. I don't know what the hell's up with that in February. Oh, what's going on? Yeah, so the Chiefs had their parade, the shooting. Congratulations to the Chiefs, and, real tragedy for that city. Last year this time, Snow and I were going back to Kansas City to see Springsteen a year ago. It was just a few days after the parade. And Kansas City is a really good, cool city. Not much into the Chiefs or anything like that, but, a fine city. People were all nice and stuff like that. Right now I was in Desert Hot Springs to see what the hype was about from snow. And nice. Although the hot tubs weren't as hot as what I thought they were. Now they have to cool the hot tubs down because the water comes out of the ground at about 120 to 145 degrees, so they cool it down. And it could have been a little bit warmer. It could only stay in for 5 minutes, and your body acclimates to it. And then it gets kind of cold. What do you expect in February? We'll get back to doing the podcast on a weekly basis now. Now that we're out doing all these travels all around the United States and stuff like that. That's an odd looking house. Must be trying to attract the aliens out here too. Yeah, just a bunch of weirdos in the middle of the desert. But yeah, it's just been a trying couple weeks and stuff like that, and family stuff and work travels, and did a couple days R&R out in Palm Springs, Desert Hot Springs, and Palm Springs is nice. I've never spent any time there before, But it was cool and shit. NASCAR season's coming up. Daytona 500 this weekend. I don't know how many of you are into that kind of stuff, but hey, I was kind of psyched to see it back. I love how they have the Daytona 500 the week right after the Super Bowl. You know, so you don't have that lag time with nothing to watch. You just gotta have your entertainment and stuff to distract you from the real world and all this bullshit. We didn't talk about it on the last podcast that Toby Keith passed away with cancer, which is just kind of a real sad thing. He did his last couple shows in Vegas a few months ago, and I wasn't there, but I saw videos of it. And he didn't look good. He probably knew what was coming. Cancer's just a bitch. It seems to take a lot of loved ones and stuff like that. I was always under the assumption, my feeling is there's more money in the treatment of cancer than the cure. I think if we wanted to cure it, we could. But, where would that leave us? Stuff like this. I'll get into the mountains and stuff like that. I will say the Arizona landscape is nice. Or the Arizona, California, the western landscape, I should say, because we're driving through here in the middle of nowhere. I don't even know where the next city would be. I remember while I was driving down the Palm Springs, I left Kingman and didn't really see civilization. I think I passed like one gas station the whole time until I got to the I-10. Just outside of Palm Springs, just in the middle of nowhere out here. I was listening to that song "Twentynine Palms" by Robert Plant. Good song. I hadn't heard it in years, but being 29 Palms, put that on. The other one I'm obsessed about is the new, it's not even new because it's a few years old, Noah Kahan. He's from Vermont, Stratford, Vermont, and his album, Stick Season, is just phenomenal. If you get a chance, check it out. Man, I've had that, on repeat for, the last couple of weeks since I was in Vermont, and then even since I got back last week from this. And now I got somebody tailing my ass here. I wonder if they do have aliens out here. Sign here in the middle of nowhere. I wonder if they know that Pence isn't running with his running mate this time. God, we just screwed this election cycle, though. I think, it's just, you know what the choice has to be if you're on one side or the other, you know who you're voting for, but it's kind of like, why do we want to? I can't get two better candidates. Anyone else? Not like Biden's doing a bad job, in my opinion. I think he's doing just fine, but the age factor does come into it. And people giving Jon Stewart a bunch of shit because when he returned to the Daily Show, he was ragging on Biden and Trump on it. And, it is just comedy. And I think, when it comes down to it, Jon Stewart's going to vote the right way and stuff like that. But it's just like, when it goes a big truck blow by me. Yeah, so, anyway. Just driving out here, giving random thoughts and stuff like that. I think this weekend we will be back on the podcast again from the regular studio, coming up on 200 episodes. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening. We appreciate all you, and we will talk to you again in the near future. All right, bye y'all.